Today I have the Thrunite T1 Pro. This is the larger version of the T1 that I've reviewed previously. And you can see that this light is a little bit larger, a little bit brighter, a little bit farther throw. Size-wise, you can see it is a little bit larger than palm size. That size being, it does carry really well. I've carried it for a while and honestly had it in my pocket and forgot it was there because it's not too heavy, not too wide, not too big. So it does make a good EDC type light if you're looking for something a little bit lighter and a little bit brighter. This light retail is $49.95. I'll put some links to Amazon down below. You can sometimes find some sale prices on it. It puts out a maximum of 1920 lumens from that PMMA TIR lens there up in front. PMMA for polymethyl methyl acrylate, which is to say plastic. And it says it will throw a rated 196 meters, 643 feet. Realistically, are you going to see 2 football fields with this? Maybe not, but it still gets a good amount of throw for a light of this size. The body's made of a 6061 T6 aluminum IPX8 rated, kind of standard flashlight stuff, normal material. On the back, there's no button there. It is magnetic, so you can mount this on your car or your wall or your refrigerator or anything metal you have. Moving forward, there is the deep carry bidirectional pocket clip. You can see pretty deep right there. I would like there to be a little bit ease of getting this into your pocket, maybe angled up a little bit like the O lights are. And the bidirectional aspect there that some people like, some people are not in love with it, but it's there if you want it. The pocket clip is removable. If you want, you can just pull it right off. Taking the light apart, the head screws off, and on the inside is the included 3400 milliamp hour 18650 battery, 3.6 volts. You can see right there. Put that back in there. O-rings to help with that water protection rating, and screw that head back on. Moving up to the front there is a mild heat sink, and I will say that on the higher outputs, this light does get pretty warm up in the head. On this side is the charging port. It's a USB-C charging port, and it seals up nice and solid. You just mash that right back down in there, and that will help with the IPX8 rating. Speaking of the charging port, a few things this comes with. Comes with a USB to USB-C charging cable, a packet with a lanyard and some extra O-rings, and of course the instruction manual. Now while this is charging, this light will light up red as it's charging and blue when it's fully charged. The button here also acts as a charging indicator. When it is blue when you turn it on, that is greater than 21%. Red is 11 to 20%, and flashing red is less than 10%, so you know when you need to charge this thing. Up in the front there, nothing on the bezel, just a standard bezel with that TIR lens that we already spoke about. The user interface of this light has a ramping brightness, which I am really not in love with, but that's what this one has, and some people do like it. It's otherwise pretty standard for functioning for lights if you're familiar with them. You can long press it and get to the moonlight mode. That's 0.44 lumens. It'll do that for 61 days. And then you can click it back off. While it's in that moonlight mode, if you hold it for about 2 seconds, it will go into the lockout mode, and you can see there, locked out if you want to throw it in your bag. And to get out of the lockout, you hold it down for 2 seconds, and it will come back on to the moonlight mode. From there, you can click it on, and it will come on to whatever brightness it was turned off at, save for the moonlight and turbo. And then the way you get between the brightnesses is you hold down the side button, and it will ramp up. And when it gets to the top, it flashes, and you hold it again, and it will ramp back down. When it gets to the bottom, it flashes. From any mode, you can double click, get to the turbo, triple click, and get to the strobe. The moonlight, like I said, is 0.44 lumens. The lowest output is 25 lumens, ramps up to a high of 1100 lumens, and then the turbo is 1920 lumens. Is there a big difference between 1100 and 1920 between the high and the turbo? There is really not a significant difference, as you can see here. It is going to be a little bit brighter. You get the same runtime. It's 2 minutes out of the high and 2 minutes out of the turbo, and then it ramps down to 600 and 590. Same thing for either 200 minutes or 160 minutes. And like I said, when you have it on that bright mode for a long time, it does tend to get really pretty warm up in the head, and you're not going to need that much brightness out of this light. Anyway, if you're going to carry something that you need a lot of brightness out of, well, you probably ought to carry a larger light. But the brightness is there if you need it for short periods of time. That ramping brightness, like I said, I don't care for it because I never know where I turned it off. I like being able to turn a light on at low all the time and then ramping up through the brightnesses. This one, did I turn it off on the low or was it up on high? And I clicked it off there and I click it back on. I don't know with these sorts of lights where I turned it off, and I prefer to be able to turn the light on to low if I'm in a darker environment and then ramp it up as needed because I don't always need, say, the bright output that I turned it off on. So that's my lack of love for the ramping brightnesses, but some people do prefer it. Overall, there's the light. Nice light, compact light, bright light, easy to carry, not too big, not too small, with a good output of almost 2,000 lumens, 1,920 for $50, maybe a little cheaper if you can find it on sale. I'll put some links down below, and you can check this out, the Thrunite T1 Pro.